This company does a lot of cool things. One of the things that actually is my favorite is the brick ceremony. The brick ceremony, believe it or not, I don't know how many people really know this, but it was an idea that Dan Titus came up with a number of years ago to really try to celebrate the people of Tweddle. I think it's really cool. After you get 15 years of service here in the company, everybody knows. We now have a little celebration for you. We come up and we get to hear your personal story. But the brick in the ground means you're a part of the foundation of the company, what makes it great. And these are special people, and it's important that we look at these people and we celebrate them and we thank them for their service and for making Tweddle what it is today. It's a big deal. Today we have 8 individuals who have achieved this high watermark of being able to put up with Brian and Dan and me for 15 years. That's a pretty big deal. So we're glad you're all here. We're glad to maybe we'll try to embarrass these people a little bit, have a little fun with them, hear a little bit of their story, but each one of them special. We're going to bring them up one at a time, all right? So, anything you want to bring up first?
No, I think we're ready.
So, I need to say that I'm here as Todd's proxy. He's out of the office today, but I want a little preface and a little bit of comments before his accolades. It's actually an honor and privilege to be up here with Brian and Paul to recognize Carol for nearly 16 years, because she's almost at 16 for us, right? 12 days.
Wow! Missed the cutoff last year.
Right, yeah. So if you want to kind of understand what happened in the last nearly 16 years, for those of you who have been here that long, or for those of you who work in our Oracle system, Carol actually has the privilege of sending out order number 1. Tier 1 order number 1 out of the back of the distribution center. And if you want to get an idea for how much has gone on since then, Samantha tells me that we are on order number 65,585 and counting as of this morning.
Wow.
I just did 64,610.
There you go.
I walked in.
So,
That's
just
awesome.
to give you an idea, there have been a lot of orders, and Carol started with order number 1. She's been instrumental in facilitating the distribution, the logistics, and the customer service that we provide in the back that is world-class, to say the least, and 100% on-time delivery for all of our clients. She's key to our department. She contributes a lot as a positive member of our department and contributing to different values that we have here at Tweddle Group. So with that, I'm going to go on with Todd's stuff. He told me I'm not going to do a very good job, and he would do a much better job, but here I go. Over 15 years ago, Carol was recruited by Tweddle for her previous knowledge and experience with the Ford customer systems and practices, right? Throughout Carol's time at Tweddle, our overall business and in turn logistics responsibilities have grown exponentially as she, along with Barb, who has retired, is directly responsible for developing and initializing many of the processes and practices that the Customer Logistics Management Department employs, and that we have created and sustained Tweddle's excellent reputation for delivery and customer service. Carol has also seen the CLM department shift from one department and or leader to another over the years. I don't know how many. Probably a lot of.
Dan was
number 1.
Yep.
So we owe it all to Dan. But over the years, I've had many different structures throughout the organization. Carol is a long-standing and contributing member to the Tweddle Group Charity Committee. He thinks you've been on it since day one when he thinks back to it.
I was on it in another company, but not here.
In addition to that, her everyday responsibilities, Carol is the unofficial song leader for the Program Management Department.
Wait a second, that sounds like an opportunity.
Yeah.
Right now.
Wait for it. When it comes to birthday wishes, due to her love of participating in karaoke outside of work, she said this is the part where I asked Carol to sing for us.
I knew you were going there.
But really, Carol, we are blessed to have you on our team, contributing at a high level every day, every weekend, and keeping this exceptional customer service, on-time delivery, and just being an overall great Tweddle team member. So thank you. Congratulations.
It's your floor. It's your floor.
You can just.
Well, I did, when I was asked to put my resume in here, I did it reluctantly because I worked for automotive for about 10 years somewhere else. And when I left, I said, no more, no more. So I went to work for Entertainment Publications, and I got a phone call from an employee here, and be like, really, you need to put your application or your resume in? I really don't want to go back to. She goes, it's paper. I worked with tools. We did metal and plastic fasteners for a company in Rochester Hills, and I was quite stressed at that job, but she said it's paper. And I'm like, how bad can paper be? Our engineering changes were 6 to 8 weeks. You know, no big deal. We come here and they're like overnight. All the time. Multiple ones all at once. So it was like, well, okay. And I didn't know when I came here how close, because wasn't really familiar with this area, how close we were to Selfridge. My 4th day here, 9/11, everybody's got the TVs and the radios. Tom DuPont had the TV on. The towers had been hit. Didn't know we were this close to Selfridge. The planes started going. I went to go get something off the printer. I thought we were being bombed. I hit the floor. But it's been great. I mean, I've worked for a lot of good managers. I mean, like I said, started out with Dan, and seen a lot of growth over 16 years. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Denise, as you can see, is a very flamboyant type person. And she's going to kill me when this is all over. But she really, truly sets the example of what the value-driven and everything here at Tweddle is all about. She actually has been involved with Tweddle longer than I have been. She started across the street when they were over there. And she is, no sarcasm intended, the queen of the Shanklin pockets. And for those of you who don't know what that is she invents ways to shoot the books into every kit that we do. And her flamboyancy is great for me being her manager, because if I don't say good morning to her or wave at her, I never even know she's at work, but the line runs tremendously. She truly sets the bar for be the best you can be at the job you choose to do for your company, and the support for the company is impeccable, and she is a pleasure to have on my team. And I could stay here for hours, but I'm not going to. She gets it. And without the books going in that little kit going out the door, sometimes we lose focus of how important that is. And without people like Denise, we got nothing. And she has set the bar awful high for a lot of people following in her footsteps. And we also push her very hard for training. She is the best of the best in that pocket area, and I appreciate her effort every single day. And I thank you. It's my privilege.
Awesome. It's your shining moment.
Oh,
Congratulations. Yeah.
well, thank you for having me employed here for all these years. You know, it's a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you.
There's some black marks out on the pavement out here.
Wasn't
I think
me.
Scott was.
That's not me. I left the car.
There's a rumor it's no, it was Scott.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the early years with Scott.
Yeah, you know, guys, this entire ceremony is about the foundation that's laid by the people who have long-standing relationships with the company. I think you couldn't have a better example than Scott. First project, Crossfire. Tell us about it, Scott. That was a pleasure, right?
It was a pleasure, but a hell at the same time. So, yes, it was. It's kind of funny. I consider myself technically the first Chrysler authoring team member.
You got it.
Because I was hired by Andy, and the day I started is the day we got the RFQ for Crossfire.
And
And
they
then
said,
it was 4 months of hell after
a
that.
German car made by a joint venture company,
Built in Germany.
built in Germany, authored by Scott Williams. What could go wrong?
Yeah,
What could
yeah.
go wrong? Nothing.
But
right?
there have been many other projects there.
Boy, and you know, I think the excellence that Scott brings to work every day is reflected in the teams that are following him, especially the FCA owner manual team that's had the pleasure of reporting to Scott for many years now. And you know, if you look at their quality track record, if you look at their on-time delivery track record, if you look at the long-standing relationships that they have with their customers, I think that's all testament to what's achievable from a true professional like Scott.
And we appreciate also every day. Scott's more than just in Content D. He's helping me every day. He's helping manage the Chrysler relationship, the FCA customers. Oftentimes we have him flying all over the world, probably doing things that he doesn't really have a lot of interest in doing. Sitting in small rooms, conference rooms, working through process maps, a lot of details, a lot of the grind. But we appreciate you every
Oh, I
day.
appreciate it.
We really do. So
Yeah.
thank you very
No,
much.
thank you.
It's your floor now.
It's actually been a pleasure. I was trying to think of things to say, and it's difficult. We've seen a lot of highs and lows, and seen FCA grow from 1 or 2 people on the account to over 100 now. Many projects that we've done.
We're recording this.
That's right.
Over 1,000 now.
Well, somebody from FCA here.
Could be.
Let me look around.
All right.
No, but it's been an honor and a pleasure. I enjoy coming into work every day. Just seeing the customer being happy in the long run, and the deliverables that we give them, and providing them a quality product.
Absolutely.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
All right. Awesome. Give it up for Scott.
He blocks it out.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, bring it.
Here it comes.
Actually, when we talked about Crossfire, and that's what I wanted to talk about with Dan. Dan came to us a couple of months after I started at a perfect time. We were just finalizing the RFQ for the Crossfire project. We hired Dan, and it was a perfect timing for that. Without Dan's expertise, there's no way that would have been successful. Dan's knowledge and the way he goes about his day-to-day business is how this FCA team is built the way it is today. Without you coming into when you did, we wouldn't have this team today. That's honest. That's the way I feel. So I appreciate it, all the work you do. We've done a lot of cool projects together. Crossfire, yeah, it was hell, but we consider it a cool project.
But look, we used all the money we made on Crossfire to build us into the company that we made today. How much money do we make on that, Dan?
Negative, like 12.
I knew where that answer was coming.
No money on that one, right?
It was an investment in the future.
Well, you're beer drinking in Germany?
Maybe one. But yeah, it's been a pleasure. We joke about all the time the different trips, the different things that Dan's been a part of. Dan was instrumental in the mobile apps when we kicked that off. Working with China on the cherry products, which I know you love those trips.
I miss them. I miss them.
But it's been great to have you. Seriously.
Thanks, Dan.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Good job.
Thanks a lot. And yeah, it just wouldn't be right if we didn't talk a little bit more about the Crossfire project, right? Because Scott's right. It was roughly 2 months after you started. The economic conditions were perfect for me to start here, let's just say. That's code for I was unemployed. So due to 9/11, that was the fallout of that, was a lot of people were unemployed, and I was one of them. And I called my buddy up. I said, hey man, I need a job. He said, well, you're lucky.
It's your lucky day.
Because we got a job. And I came in here, I swear to God, my interview was at 9. I interviewed with RJ. Bruce Griner tested me electronically. I met with Eric Gordon. We discussed salary. And by 1 o'clock, I was driving home with a job.
Nice.
Swear to God.
I love it.
Nice. That's nice.
It's efficiency in hiring.
It was. And I tell you, I've never looked back. You know, I was on this 5-year cycle in my life. Like every 5 years, it was time to change, you know. And I remember it was 5 years coming up, and we were working down in Allen Park, trying to the Ford work. We spent some time down in Allen Park with Ford Service Manual work. We were trying to get something going there. Andy wanted to try another avenue. And it just wasn't working. It had its share of political problems down there, but that 5-year mark came up, and I remember talking to my mom, and she said, "Don't go. You're in a good place." And I'm like, "Yeah, what does Mom know?" Mom knows a lot.
Mom knows a lot.
And so I stayed. And man, what a great opportunity it's turned into. You know, I've traveled the world with this company. I've seen things I would have never seen.
Don't describe that.
No, in a good way.
Censor.
In a good way.
Okay.
But one quick story, and I think I'm good. But so Crossfire is well underway. Scott's doing his thing. I'm doing my thing. There's two of us, and we got a team of 4 or 5 under us. Well, Scott Bauer is working the floor, right, upstairs, and he's got a tour coming through. And I think it was some folks from GM. I think it was Cindy that you worked with. I can't remember the lady's name right now, but
Very church.
and so Scott's bringing them around. Well, I've got this blueprint of a wiring diagram. It's a body print, so it's from here to the building, long, and it's in German, and I'm getting through it, right? Because that's, like you said, it was a crazy mix, right? So Scott's walking these ladies around, and he comes up to me, and I can see him, and I'm working. I've only been on the job about a month, and he says, "Here we've got one of our developers." He looks at me. He says, "He's learning German." Swear to God. And they just kept on going. But I love that. I did learn a lot of German doing that. I've learned a lot of everything doing this job. I see faces all over that have been here a long time. I'm proud to be a part of this company. And I just want to thank everyone for turning out. This is a great day. And gentlemen, thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
So much. Really great. Really, Nancy is Eric Mercer.
I don't have any real great stories with Nancy. I've only been to a short window with Nancy, but Nancy does so much for our team. Really, she's the first line of defense for us against engineering, and it never ceases to amaze me how many times engineers go to Nancy and just think she does the whole process. They go, "Nancy, you can take care of this, right?" They come to her right away, and we have to say, "Oh yeah, well she can, but we're gonna take a little bit off her plate." So I've been around for 4 years. Nancy's been a friend of mine ever since. When I came out here, I moved from the other side of the state. Nancy was immediately a friend to me. Made it easy to come to work every day. She's the backbone of the team. She's always there. She keeps spirits high all the time. And really, I think just for the entire team that I work with, that they come in, the fun things we do, the tough times that we have, she's always there for us, and she keeps our spirits high. So really just huge thank you to you, Nancy, for always being there for us as a team, keeping me happy all the time. Everything works great. Yeah, so it really,
I actually
you make
was
my
with the
life
engineers.
easy.
I thought she did it all too.
Yeah, and no, really, I think that's
I thought
all
you
the
were like
time.
her support staff.
Oh,
you guys.
we get it all the time. Engineers just go right to Nancy and say, "Hey, Nancy, can you close this out for me? When's this going to be done? Is this done yet? What's the deal here, Nancy?" And she's going to go talk to Eric. Get out of here, you know? In much nicer words than what I would say. So it's a huge appreciation for Nancy. We love it every day that you're there. I get all the meetings, all the fun stuff, tough times through it all. It's fantastic. So thanks so much, Nancy.
This is going to be short. Just thanks, Tweddle, for the opportunities that I've had and the experiences here. I've met a lot of wonderful people, and I've met some real characters. When they're combined in one person, that's pretty great. I've made a lot of great friends that I expect to keep for my whole life or until I leave. And so that's just it. We've had a tough time sometimes in our department, but we always have fun, and that's why I'm still here.
So good.
I like the fun, so thank you.
Thank you. Wearing the Harley shirt.
So I just want to say, thanks to Mike for all his hard work. I've been here a year and a half now, and Mike's one of my go-to guys. He's an A-level technician in the garage. Anytime I have a deliverable to pull up, Mike's there to answer it. He gets it done for me. He mentors all the new FRS technicians in the shop, and I just appreciate everything he does every single day and the transition that he's helped me into my new job here at Tweddle. So I've known Mike, I met him 17 years ago. It's interesting when you run into someone in the business and content development, a lot of it's, a short, everyone knows each other. Seems like they run into each other. So it was interesting running into him again. I'm like, man, I know this guy, 15 years ago, so Mike, thanks for everything you do every single day. And I hope you have another 15 years here. And
I hope so too.
So,
got a great story. Never been on a plane before. Put my app in here. Thank you, Mr. Eric Gordon, for hiring me. I went from never being on a plane before to California, Nashville, and living in Japan for a whole month. All in 6 months.
That's great.
It's been a flight I never experienced before, and it's just went by so fast. I can't believe it's 15 years already, and I hope to get the right off in the sunset from here and retire in my old age. So
Yeah, it's
let's
awesome.
do that. Thank you very
Awesome.
much.
Thank you. Congratulations. Have a great year. It's awesome.
I will be
Be nice.
First of all, had I known I would have to speak at these things, I wouldn't have come up with this idea at all. Because everybody knows me, I'm not a man of much words. So, February 20th, notable dates. 1792, U.S. Postal Service is created. 1962, John Glenn, the first American to orbit the Earth. 1963, my lovely wife of 33 years is born.
Wow.
1974, Cher files for separation from Sonny Bob. And a great day, Cindy decides to come and start with Tweddle Litho. Yes, it was Tweddle Litho back in the day for anybody who's older. She started off as a print coordinator. It's funny, somebody mentioned General Motors. That's what her experience was. She began working with Doug Takash, being a print coordinator for GM. That lasted about a year. At that time, Nissan started to increase, and so Scott Bauer, being an intelligent human being, snatched her up, and she began doing something as simple as invoicing for Nissan. Well, Scott kind of figured out that he needed a lot more, and that Cindy's skill set was outstanding in a lot of aspects. So she became not only responsible for the invoicing, she started doing some project management, she started helping with the estimating, tracking all the jobs, and to this day, she's practically the right-hand person on that account. Without her, I don't know what we'd be doing on the Nissan account, and that is a true statement. I'm sure Ken Poyer and Eric Gordon would second that in a heartbeat.
Agreed.
So since then, being it's a lot of financial activity, she's started coming to my team. Surprisingly enough, anybody who knows her, it's amazing that she's still here giving all the personal activities that happen in her life. It is a lightning rod, so standing here next to a pole is not a good idea. Even on a clear blue sky, it's just not good. So, but truly, thank you for everything you've done. You're a great person to work with, and I'm happy that you're on our team. So.
Well, Dan's right. We've done a lot. The company has changed drastically in 15 years. I started out, some of my early spreadsheets were 20 or 30 rows, and I'm well over 1,000 rows in Excel.
20 or 30 tabs.
And that, yeah, and 30 or 40 tabs and everything. I think I probably take up the most space on the user drive with all the spreadsheets that we have. So it's been fun. Met a lot of people, got a lot of new experiences, and was able to use a lot of my past experiences to help me with our company to grow and move ahead. So I appreciate everyone's help. It's a good team because everyone will chip in, and I don't think I've ever had anyone say, no, I can't do that, or no, I won't. It's either, yes, I'll help, or let me try and figure out a good way. So I appreciate everyone else in the company as much as I hope that the company can continue to appreciate me for the next 15.
You got it.
Thank
You
you.
got it. You got it.
There you go, sir.
We'll make sure nobody gets run over. Our safety committee will be in big trouble here. Don would not be happy.
No.
All right. So unlike the notable events, surprisingly, anybody who knows this young lady, there's really nothing notable other than her starting on April 22nd. And that's serious. If you look, there's really nothing there. So
Nothing happened on
also,
it-
other
on that
than
day?
the Queen of Fun.
Oh.
As her self-titled, she is the Queen of Fun. Started working as an estimator in the purchasing department after finding out the error of her ways for working for some other printer who now, unfortunately, is no longer with the employed world. They went out of business. So our fortune was that Shannon came over here. Excellent estimator. In 2005, she was tapped to be work on the ERP system, which today is still in use using the ERP system. This is the configurator. So with her estimating and her intelligence and understanding the operation, she put that in, and really that was in 2006 it went live, and with very few tweaks it's still in process today, and we use it every day. A few years after that, she went into the planning department where she continued to develop her career using not only her estimating but the planning and her knowledge of all things printing. At that point, she had no idea what lay ahead of her. So in early 2015, I actually came to her and mentioned an opportunity to come work for me in my department. Once she got over all the anxiety and a few meetings later, finally telling her she could do it, she decided to come and work for our department, and it's been fantastic ever since over the last 2.5 years. She brings to us a different perspective. It's easy to get lost in the finances and everything else, but when you have somebody who understands the outside operations, it gives you a whole different perspective as to how to look at things. The other thing is, the added benefit is her great personality and always an exciting person is a lot of fun. The great thing is, Human Resources reports to me, so she's still okay. So thank you for everything. I look forward to many more years.
This is dangerous, folks, right here. This is dangerous.
No, it's not.
All right.
I'll keep it clean. I'll keep myself under control. I really don't have much to say. It's been a quick 15 years, but to think about it, I have to work for another 25 years. I'm not even halfway. Hopefully I get to stay here all that time. Hopefully everybody will put up with me that long. But that's pretty much it.
Congratulations.
Thanks. Anything else to say?
Congratulations. That's it.
And go eat!
Thanks everybody for joining. The brick ceremony really is, to me, one of the big deals at Tweddle. It's important. Thank you for all coming and listening. I know sometimes it's hard to hear everything that's going on. 8 terrific people, kind of now in our Hall of Fame. We want everybody in the Hall of Fame. The brick ceremony.
Yeah, yeah.
So thank you.